Hey, is there a better tool that empowers a woman to defend against an attacker that's bigger and stronger? Well, that's why it's so important for women to learn how to defend themselves with the most effective self-defense tool ever invented. For women led by women, the Not Me program is designed to help with training, purchasing a gun, and getting a concealed carry permit. And guess what? It's free. To sign up, go to notmesd.org. Sheriff Collander's daughter is going to reach out to Desi.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sheriff Collander's daughter. How'd that happen?
Met her at KUSI.
Yeah?
And
What was she talking about?
she's got a program that she's doing that I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but
Connor unfortunately passed away a few years ago.
yeah, she's really upset that she wanted her dad's gun,
Oh, really?
and somehow they lost it.
They lost his gun, his service gun?
So you know somebody stole
I
it.
know.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
She's not a happy camper, but she was very excited about the Not Me program. So,
Well, that's fantastic. Well,
she was bragging that she shoots. No, I said, but you haven't been to the Not Me program.
Mm-hmm. You know, speaking of the Not Me, I had an interesting case that came across my as an ambassador, something that came across me, and I didn't realize that, and I actually had it come up twice, which made, once it could be a fluke. Two, I'm like, you know what, we need to say something. So women who, as part of the application process, and men or women, this applies across the board. As part of that application process, you do have to disclose contact with law enforcement, right? Your auto accidents, your tickets, you have to kind of disclose. And I've had this come up, like I said, now twice. Women that hesitated did not put in their application because that question scared them off. They both had been victims of domestic violence. They were the victim. And they feared that disclosing that would make them ineligible to get their permit. And that never would have crossed my mind as something that would hold somebody back. But for them, they thought that they wouldn't be approved. And and it was great. I'm glad that they reached out through Not Me, and then that I was able to come across them, and through a conversation. Even if we were still before pre-Bruin, that right there would be fuel for you to be front of the line.
Right.
It doesn't work against you. So if you're out there, man or woman, doesn't matter. If you've been the victim of a crime and that question has kind of pushed you off or made you think that you're uncomfortable with the process, don't be.
Education.
Yep.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. So they move forward, both of them?
Yep. They both put in their application. Yep.
Yeah, that's a reason to get your CCW.
Absolutely.
Not a reason to deny somebody.
Yeah, and it didn't occur to me that somebody would be put off by that when they are on that side of a situation. And for them, they were.
Well, for the most part, with the background check, the way it works basically in all of California now is if you can legally own the gun, you're going to be able to pass the background check. I can't guarantee that in every single situation, but for the most part, that's the message, and that's what we're seeing in practice. If someone can legally own the gun, if they can go to a store, pass the background check there, buy the gun, own the gun legally, they should be able to pass the background check with CCWs. The only kind of exception is if you lie.
Right.
If you lie and don't, or some, a lie of omission is the same as a lie too. So if you don't tell them X, Y, and Z, or you withhold information like that, then you may not pass the background check.
One of the sheriffs explained it to me the best, that topic exactly is if you had something that happened 20, 25, 30 years ago and you don't talk about it and there was no record, there's no issues, then you possibly did something 20 to 25 years ago. If you lie about it or omit it today, you're a liar today. And that speaks to your character is how it's been mentioned to me from a couple sheriffs.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. I know there have been a couple of situations where it was kind of one of these, well, I didn't know they wanted to know about that, you know? And so the rule of thumb I've come up with is if you've had any official interaction with courts or law enforcement at any time in your whole life, disclose.
Right.
And then usually when I say that, I'm in front of a class, and then somebody you can kind of see someone like starting to put their hand up, and then I say, and if anyone asks me, well, what about this specific situation? I'm going to tell you yes. If you are asking me about it, then they are going to want to know about it.
And also too a tip and a tip is that when you do that application, there's an opportunity to upload a document. If you feel that you are wanting to kind of get in front of it, there's an opportunity for you to do a quick write-up to explain and to include that as part of your application should you choose to.
I had a really cool experience actually last week. Desi and I, this is not me experience. There's an organization actually that I patterned San Diego County gun owners after in a lot of ways. I took a little bit from a few different organizations, but I took a lot from an organization called the Lincoln Club, which is also a PAC. But Lincoln Club is not Second Amendment. They are like a business, right? Business.
Rich Republicans.
Yeah, rich Republicans. And usually they're rich because they owned a business. So it's kind of taxes and business regulations. It's kind of their emphasis. But like you said, it's just rich Republicans. They put their money. But they also, they decided, hey, as an organization, we want to benefit some 501c3s, some charities, which there is, Not Me California is a 501c3. So we were nominated and voted unanimously to be included in this this event that they had, and I think we were one of eight groups that got voted in, and there were a lot of really cool groups. We got to go to the Valley High, and we'd set up a table, and then it was something like 75 of their members came and basically went around and spoke to each. Hey, what do you do? Give me your elevator speech. And they had some really amazing charities there. There were charities that benefited, homeless and some others. It was really amazing. And to be totally frank, I never know how this is going to go over. I never know how Not Me is going to go over with the general public, I guess, because it's guns, number one. Number two, it's very direct. We're not giving away rape whistles. You know what I mean? And we're not, some best practices are, no, if you're a woman and, in order to combat sexual assault and domestic violence, if you're a woman, mainly if you're a woman, we will, find a woman who's a trained volunteer, and she will help you get training, she will help you get a gun, and she will help you get a permit. That's pretty no nonsense. Right. So I never really quite know how that's going to go over with the general public. They loved it. Everybody that came by was like, oh, wow. Kind of this, like, all right, what's this all about? And then when we explained the intricacies like I just did, it was kind of this, oh, wow, all right, yeah, and not a single, everybody was interested. Everybody thought it was great. Everybody, thought it was wonderful, wanted to know more, sign up, my wife, my whoever, my sister, he needs to be a part of this. So it was cool. It's nice to be, in a group like that and not be the redheaded stepchild. So it was cool. It was very cool.
There's so much about it. It's you're strengthening, you're encouraging, and you're protecting. And really, what is the drawback? What is the negative to that? We're not giving away guns irresponsibly, right? We're encouraging women to go out to protect themselves, to defend themselves, to be trained appropriately and properly, and to fit them to the right gun that's right for them. And there is no drawback. What could they say?
There's no drawback.
It's nice to ask people who oppose something like that to say if you have an aggressor who can out bench press their victim 3-1, what would your solution be? 911 on speed dial, or what other option would you come up with? And all I hear is, well, I don't know, just not guns.
Yeah.
Doesn't work for everyone.
The myth I hear a lot is, well, you're more likely to kill somebody you're in a relationship with. And you know where that comes from? I actually learned it's a myth. It's not accurate what they're saying. The way they're explaining it, it sounds like that if a woman purchases a firearm, then it increases the likelihood, and not only does it increase the likelihood, there is a strong likelihood that firearm will be used against her by a boyfriend, right? When you hear that myth, that seems to be what they're implying. John Lott, who's an economist, you guys know, we all know who John Lott is.
Awesome guy.
Yeah, more guns, less crime, right? Studied that, and what he found out was it was It started by it originated from the way the FBI report records crime, and what he found was that this huge percentage of people who were killed with a gun had a relationship with the person who shot the gun. Okay, that seems to support the myth, Mike. Well, they were in a relationship, just like they said. Well, the way they define relationship is extremely broad. And the example that Lot uses is if you jump into a cab, okay, and you say, hey, take me to 45th and B Street, for here's $20. You now you're in a relationship. You now have a financial relationship. There's a customer relationship there. So if you decide, hey, I'm gonna rob this taxi cab driver, that's the whole purpose for me getting into the cab, then, and you shoot this cab driver, you've now shot somebody you're in a relationship with. So that's where that myth came from, is the way that, and for the FBI, defining it that way was useful for whatever reason. But what they've done is they've used it to further their political agenda rather than, try to keep people safe.
So anything other than someone jumping out of a dark alley and crime of opportunity.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So that's where that came from. So usually they cite something if there is any pushback, it's usually some kind of myth like that somehow having a firearm will make the situation more dangerous for the victim, or will make the situation more complex rather than make it empowering for the victim and make the situation, it'll level the playing field. So there you go. How about that? How about that for interesting? So I think what we're going to do is we're headed towards a break, but we're going to talk about the biker bar shooting that happened in Orange County. Dave, you said you're familiar with the biker bar. We want to hear about what the biker bar a little bit, and then we're going to talk about the story and then see if we can learn some things from it.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. If you're watching mainstream media, you're not getting the truth about guns. Gun Owners Radio is the easiest way to stay on top of the Second Amendment fight, the fight for your self-defense rights. You can watch our live stream on YouTube every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, or if you're in San Diego, AM 1170, FM 96.1, The Answer. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Gun Owners Radio and you'll find our show. Like and subscribe to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.